Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you're having a good, had a good weekend and enjoyed some good fall weather. Some fun things to cover, I think, today. So first thing is, from the module, should you wait until 70 to claim your Social Security benefits? Here's what the statistics show. So let's get some yays or nays. Should you wait till 70 to claim your Social Security benefits? What do you think? Yay or nay? I'm getting some good answers here. Yeah, so everybody's saying yes, but it depends. No, but it depends, and just plain old it depends. And you're exactly right. And there's some things that they covered in this article that I think have nobody ever thinks about, and I've never seen addressed until I was seen it addressed in this article. So it says, wait until age 70 to claim Social Security benefits can significantly boost your monthly check. Yes, obviously. However, it will take a long time for the cumulative benefits from waiting to exceed those from claiming earlier. And statistically, many Americans will live long enough to justify the delay. So this statistically says many. So really, many means what? Where are we? Like an 80% will or 55% will? Because they design it for what? To be what? The mean. So it's closer to about a half and half. So let's assume that you earn Social Security, and there's a reason I want to go through this, guys. There's a reason this information is something that you could actually use right now. So maximum Social Security benefits throughout their career opted to claim benefits 62. In January 22, their monthly benefit would be $2,300, almost $2,400 a month. Now, let's suppose they wait till age 67. Then the monthly check goes from $2,400 to $3,500. However, if they choose to delay until 70, it goes from $3,500 to $4,100 or $4,200. This isn't a great. This isn't as great of a deal as the preschoolers getting twice as many marshmallows, because they've talked about, everybody's heard about the Marshmallow Experiment, where they put a marshmallow in there and say, if you in front of the preschooler, and they say, listen, if you can wait, we'll give you 5 marshmallows. And they wanted to see if they could wait. And then they re-looked at those folks down, 10 years in the future, and then as adults to find out the people who couldn't wait, how did their lives turn out? The people that could wait, how did their lives turn out? So that's what they were talking about in this article with preschoolers and marshmallows. It says your monthly check will be nearly 51% higher by waiting to claim Social Security benefits until 67, compared to doing it at 62. So waiting for 5 years, you get almost 51% or 51% higher. If you wait till age 70, your check will be 75% higher compared to claiming at 67. So what do the statistics show? Well, the statistics show that delaying to 70, Social Security is a smart move. We don't know. It's true that you receive a higher monthly check if you wait. However, it's important to look at your cumulative benefits will be. So if you can see the crossover between claiming at 62 and claiming at 67. So when will the two cross? When will it be better to have waited to 67? If you can make it to what age? Yeah, about 76. And if you make it to age 65 or age 67, do you have a pretty good likelihood that you'll make it past 76? Yes. Yes. Now, where's the next cutoff here? And that's between drawing at 62 and waiting till 70. When's that? What age is that? About 79. So now it starts to look what? What does it look like between drawing at 62 and at waiting until age 70? It starts to look maybe that age what is better. And then you look at what? Where's the crossover between 67 and 70? You have to live to be how old before that makes sense? What's the crossover on that? So just looking at this graph for yourself, so I'm not talking about your clients. What do you think would be you would do looking at this graph? Which one would you do? Would you do 62, 67, or 70 based on this graph? 62, 67, or 70. What would you do based on this graph? I agree with you, Artie. Yeah, everybody's saying 67. Yeah, 67. So is that what most newspaper, magazine articles, and advisors are recommending to their clients? And there's something else that's not included. What's not included in this? What's not included in this? Survivor's benefits, yeah. What else? Inflation, yep. COLA. Something else, though. Something huge. Something you guys do for a living. What do you guys do for a living? If they take Social Security, what do they not have to do? If they take Social Security, what do they not have to do? Ah, that's right, Tom. They don't have to draw from their investments, which means their investments can do what? Grow. So what's not included at the time value of money? So taking early and investing or keeping the investments where they're at instead of withdrawing, is that included? Is that even included in this graph? So if that was included in this graph, how much would that push everything even older? So is this information that's ever covered? Have you ever thought of it this way before? Have you ever seen these graphs before? And where did this is data from Social Security Administration. So what could you do with this information? If you've seen it before and talked about the time value of instead of having to withdraw money out of the account, you could actually leave the money in there invested and use that money instead. What have you done with that information? Do all of your clients know that? Do all your prospects know that? Does everybody in your area know that? What have you done with that? What could you do with that information? We just said that how many magazine articles and how many newspaper articles present Social Security this way? Most or very few? Most or very few? Few. So then what could you do with this information? Who could you give this information to? Who might be interested in a different point of view than what's currently out there? Ah, very good, Artie. He says editors. Call or reach out to a reporter, email reporter, put a press release together saying what? The surprising find on when to draw Social Security. Now, not CPAs. It's not a bad thing, Bob, to do CPAs. But first of all, how many CPAs refer us their clients? Lots or very few? But I tell you what, when I was the two times I ended up in the local newspaper, guess what happened? Both times I was in the local newspaper, guess what happened? That's right. Tons of activity, tons of people calling, tons of people showing up at my workshops, tons of people knowing who I was. So this information, do you think that since this is not what the typical newspaper, not what the typical magazine, not what the typical news reporter on the local news or radio station is reporting, is this something that you could reach out to them and talk to them about? Because the right way to withdraw Social Security is not what people are told, right? Based on this, it invariably is what? Wait till 70 or draw at 67? Yeah, draw it earlier. Is that what they've been told? So you can say that the surprising results of when to withdraw Social Security. Hint, it's not waiting until 70. Does that make sense? And somebody commented earlier that This is a unique selling proposition. So what is a unique selling proposition? So you have what you do well, what your competitor does well, and what consumer wants. Well, they say a winning USP is something that you do well and your consumer wants, but your competitor does not do. That's the best USP. The losing zone is if your consumer wants something your competitors do much better than you, you're in trouble. So you want to make sure that if you know what clients want, you better darn well be able to do it at least as well as your competition. But what you're looking to do is something that you do better that your competition doesn't do well. Risky, competitive battle, expensive, and you do not have a clear advantage, which means that something your clients want, but something that both you and your competitors do well. Where does most marketing end up? When you look at your Instagram, when you look at your mailbox, all your competitors, where are they ending up in this unique selling proposition? In the green, in the red, or in the yellow? Red, green, or yellow? All right, you got it right? Debbie, you got it right? Come on, guys. Green, red, or yellow? Okay, everybody's giving it no. Yep, it's in the yellow. Things that, there's like, hey, I can get you more retirement income. Hey, I can help you retire safe. Hey, the mistakes you make with your IRAs. Everybody's ending up here. So this is not the place you want to be. Why? Because there's no unique selling proposition. There's no advantage that you have. Yeah, it's noise. Very good. It's noise. So in order to have a killer unique selling proposition, prospect has to come to 4 conclusions. Number 1, I want that thing. Number 2, I can't get that thing anywhere else, so therefore I have to contact this person. I understand what they're talking about, and I believe what they're talking about. So let's look at this. I want it, can't get it anywhere else. I understand what it is, and I believe it. So do our unique selling propositions meet that criteria? We can increase the income from retirement accounts by 25% or more and lower your chance of running out of money without having to move a single investment. Can we do this, guys? Do we have a technique that will do this, guys? Yes. Based on us saying it or based on who's saying it? The Society of Actuaries. And actuaries are salespeople or mathematicians? Mathematicians. And how many of your competitors are saying this? How many of your competitors could even say this? Do they even know what the hell we're talking about here? None. Okay? So does that meet the I want it criteria? How many clients want 25% or more income and lowering their chance of running money without even moving a single investment? Okay, let's talk about the second one. Reduce the tax you pay in your IRA and retirement accounts by up to 70%. If I took a survey of most advisors out there and said, how much tax do you have to pay when your client pulls money out of their IRA or their 401k or their retirement account, how many of them would say 100%? How many of your competitors would say 100%? Virtually all of them would. And yet, do we have a technique where they could reduce it from 100% down to just 30%? Reduce it by up to 70%. Do we have a technique that does that? And would your clients like to be able to do that? Do they want that? How about reduce the tax you pay on your investment income? That's income that's from your investments, not in retirement accounts, down to just a 1% tax bracket. Can we do that? Yes, we can. How many of your clients would want that? How about getting 2 years worth of long-term care costs without having to pay expensive annual premiums? How many would want that? How about have you applied for the program that will protect your wife from losing half of her Social Security income at her spouse's death? How many would want that? How many would want those things? See, the offer must include relevance. Are all of these things relevant? Paying less taxes, getting more income, reducing the chance of running out of money, protecting the spouse, protecting stuff from long-term care. Are they all relevant? Yes, they are. Are they important to most people? Yes. Is there urgency? And here's the word you want to use: get. You get this. You get this. You get an income that's 25% higher than what you're getting, and lower. You get more safety by lowering the chance of running out of money, and you get it without moving a single investment. By using this technique, you get the ability to lower your taxes by 70% on your retirement accounts. By using this technique, you get the ability to only take your tax bracket down to just 1% tax bracket on your non-qualified money instead of the 15, 25, 30, 37% that you're at now. You get 2 years worth of long-term care costs without expensive annual premiums. You get to protect your spouse from losing half the Social Security at your death. So, have we checked the I want it box? Yes. I can't get anywhere else. Well, where else? How many of your competitors are mentioning any one of these things? If I went to your competitor and said, hey, can you do this, or how do you do this, would they even know how to do these things? No. Let alone all of these things. Now, obviously, our job is to make sure they understand it. Is it based on the explanations we give you on the website? If you click here, click here, click here, click here, click here, are the explanations easy to understand? They're very easy to understand. And can we prove these things? Can we quantify the results? Can we show it in black and white, specifically, and give them verification on all of these things? On all of these things. Can we do this? Quantify, specifically tell them what they will get, and verify it for all of these USPs? Yes. So we have the thing, or 5 of those things, the unique selling propositions that can move you up. And the reason I started out with the fact that most people get when you should withdraw from Social Security wrong is that also a unique selling proposition. Your knowledge and ability to explain it that way, is that also a unique selling proposition? Yes, because how many of your competitors are saying take it at the FRA, take it at the 67? How many of your competitors are saying that? Or if they were interviewed by the local news, what would they say? They'd say, withdraw it at 70. Because they're not taking these other things into account, are they? So the great thing is, you can use all of these USPs or any one of these USPs with our our low or no cost selling methods. You can use any one of those USPs with the one question survey system. You can use it with the assisted living facility system. You can use it with a union or a local fraternity system. You can use it with the Be a Star. You can use it with the bumper sticker. You can use it with the client advisory board. You can use it with the client appreciation. You can use it with any of these. There's 32 low and no cost ways to use the unique selling proposition. And what makes it work is the fact that it's a unique selling proposition. So if you're not doing a seminar, if you're not buying leads, what should you be doing this fall? Choosing 2 or 3 of these, using one of the unique selling propositions or 2 or 3 of the unique selling propositions to start getting more people. And this costs you how much again? How much do these things cost you? Virtually nothing. What it does cost you is what? Some elbow grease. But if I asked you guys, are you working 40 hours a week? How many do you think on this call are working 40 hours a week? If you're working 40 hours a week, in this business, how much money should you be making? I'll guarantee you, if you're working 40 hours a week and you're not making $1 million a year, guess what you should do immediately? Get on my calendar. Because if you're working 40 hours a week, and you're not making $1 million a year, you're doing what? Are you using those 40 hours efficiently? So the reason I don't jump on people to use our system, the reason I don't nag people, scream at people, bug people to use our system is not because I don't want you to make money. It's because my belief is that you've decided what? I don't want to work 40 hours a week, Mike. I've been working. You know what? The money I'm making is just fine. I'm fine at working 20 hours a week and making the money I'm making. But if you're making 40, if you're working 40 hours a week and not making $1 million a year, I will tell you, you are doing something wrong. Please, 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 please call Tricia. Get on my calendar so that when you're working 40 hours a week, you can at least get paid for it. Does that seem reasonable? So I want yays or nays to that. Everybody say yay or nay. If you think you're working 40 hours a week and you're not making $1 million a year, you need to get on my calendar, because I'm going to help you make sure that at 40 hours a week, any guy in our system at 40 hours a week could make $1 million a year. So does that seem reasonable? I only have 2 yeses. Come on. Yes or no? Is that reasonable or not? So if you don't want to work 40 hours a week, then hey, dudes, that's cool with me. That's one of the advantages of working for ourselves, being independent, is we can write our own hours. But if you're working 40 hours a week, please, if you're not making $1 million a year, get on my calendar, because you should be making $2 million a year. So if you're only if you're below average, you make $1 million a year. If you're average, you should be making $2 million a year. Okay. So, but if you don't want to work 40 hours a week, well then that's the advantage of being an entrepreneur, being an independent like you are. But if you're not working 40 hours a week, that gives you time to do what? If you're not working 40 hours a week, that gives you time to do what? Take 2 or 3 of these systems and start seeing more people if you want to see more people. If you don't want to see more people, that's cool. And if you don't want to see more people, well, Tom, when you say study the market, what do you mean by study the market? Because if you're saying study the stock market, should any of us be spending any time studying the stock market, guys? Can any of us beat the market? Could we study until we're blue in the face? Could we study 1 million years and still not beat the market? How many of the hedge fund managers beat the market? And the bets that Warren Buffett made, how many hedge fund managers beat the market? Over a 10-year period, how many hedge fund the top 10 hedge fund managers went against the market? Nope, not even, Tom. Guess how many? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 10 of the 10 biggest hedge fund managers bet Warren Buffett over a 10-year period that they could beat the market, and they lost. All of them did. And how much more time, money, people, staff, computers, everything, resources do they have than you have? If they can't beat the market, should we be spending any time studying the market? Aha. So Tom's saying he didn't mean study the market. He meant study and market. So what he was saying is study the system and market more. And these are the ways you'd want to. So you missed that important and in the middle, Tom. So guys, if you're not working 4 hours a week, you have time to do what? If you want to get in front of more people, start marketing. These cost you nothing, but time. Make sense? Cool. So the next thing I want to talk about is the will and trust part of the 21-point checklist. The will and trust. And here's the thing. Do we want to replace their attorney with the 21-point checklist? No. We have no interest in doing that. And when somebody has a trust, they spent how much money on that trust? A lot or a little if they have a trust? A lot. So if we start attacking that trust, what's the likelihood they're going to have a knee-jerk reaction to protect themselves and say and defend that trust and their attorney and the money they spent? They're going to defend it. So then we're how far into the meeting and we're already in an argument? The second thing is, do we want to tell them that they need to get a will and a trust and push that? If we push the fact that they need a will, but more importantly, if we push that they need a trust this early in the morning, this early in the morning, I guess, and this early in the meeting, if we push that they need a trust this early in the meeting, what do they think that we're trying to do? be a good advisor? No, 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 no. Yeah, you're right, Nick. You're right, John. They think we're what? Trying to sell them on a trust, and we're going to get a kickback from the attorney when they do the trust. Do we want them thinking about it? Because remember, the whole purpose of the survivor's guide, the will and the trust, the power of attorney, these non-financials, to have them understand that what? I'm selling things, or I'm here to help. All those non-financial things are to say I'm here to help. So we don't want to come across as selling at all. So we want to be through the will, through the trust very quickly. We're not gonna tell them the one they have is bad. Believe me, if you give me a trust, I can tear it apart. And I used to do that. I used to tear the trust apart, and then I would get all these resistance from people. I'm like, and then I had to ask myself, why are you doing that, Mike? That's silly. You're not trying to get rid of the attorney. You're here to get rid of the advisor. So don't get into this back and forth about trust. And I didn't want to recommend these things because then it made it sound like, because they know that wills and trusts cost money. And if I'm recommending them, they're thinking, oh, I get it. He wants me to spend money and he's going to get a kickback. So I didn't want either of these things. Now, I will help them take care of these things. When will I help them take care of these things? When will I help them take care of the will and the trust? After they become a client. That's right, after they become a client. So let's take a look at how we do it here. So let me get Okay. So here's the funny thing. See how these dots tell you exactly where we're at? So this is the survivor's guide. This is the intro. This is the will. This is the trust. So how much real estate is there between these two dots for the survivor's guide? A lot or a little? More, right? But how much between the will and the trust? How much real estate's there? Hardly any, right? So if you look at all these dots, there's very tiny between the will and virtually nothing between the trust, because of the things that I just told you about, compared to all the other subjects that we cover. So let's just listen to how we do it here.
So the next thing is we looked at your will, and I did a cursory look at it, but here's the thing. Who knows more about your family dynamics? You or me?
We do.
You do, right?
Right.
So what we have you do before I do a real thorough look at your will, I'd want you to fill out or go through this easy checklist so I know more about your family dynamics. And once I know that, then I can go through your will and see if there's any things that are missing. Now, the one thing I did, though.
So here's a great thing about this, though. How many advisors have the client fill out a checklist like that about wills? Yeah, no one does. No one does. So even though I'm doing nothing, am I still giving myself credibility compared to their current advisor? Or is it still thinking, you know, my guy never did that. I didn't even think my attorney had me fill out a checklist. So are we accomplishing something that costs us basically no time or effort to do it?
Find missing right away is what we call a digital executor. Now, do you have a Facebook account?
No, but Rochelle does.
Okay, email accounts?
Yeah.
Instagram or any type of other thing online?
Yeah, we've got that.
Yeah,
So how many advisors make sure their clients have digital wills to handle all their online activity, passwords, access to when they die? So again, making ourselves look different, right? Making ourselves look different. At no cost, no money.
So when you join one of those, they have these terms and conditions that, and you scroll and you scroll. I mean, how long are they?
I've never actually read them, but they're pretty long.
Well, in there, guess what they say? They own that information.
Okay.
So when nobody can touch your account legally. So if you die, all of a sudden that information becomes theirs unless you have a digital executor.
Okay.
And maybe you want it frozen. Maybe you want it taken down. But do you want people in there fiddling around with it?
Oh, no.
No. So that's one of the things I would recommend you, very highly, is get a digital executor as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So are they looking at you as a salesman? Are they looking at somebody that only wants to talk about their money at this point? You've done the survivor's guide, and this is how you're handling the will. what's happening to their thoughts about you? Because when they came in, they sat in the car and they said, honey, no matter what this guy says, we're not moving the money. I don't care what this guy says, we're not buying anything. I don't care what this guy says, we're just here for the information. Do they or do they not have that conversation in the car before they come to a meeting? Yes. So what's happening to that resistance level, right, by me doing this? Starting with the survivor's guide and then doing this with the will. They're going, what's happening here? This isn't what I expected. Oh, this guy's actually here to help me. Holy crap.
Okay, super. So the next thing we'll talk about is, and again, we'll want to revisit that once you fill out that checklist.
Okay.
But a trust. Now, you don't have a trust right now, and there's only a couple of reasons where it really becomes necessary, and that is, do you have a special needs child?
No.
No, okay. Do you have a real estate outside of the state of Minnesota?
No.
Okay. If you did on either of those, then it would become much more necessary to have a trust. If you don't have those two things, there are reasons to get them, reasons to don't. They have advantages and disadvantages, but certainly not any hurry to get a trust. And down the road, we could kind of revisit the advantage and disadvantage, and you can decide whether it made sense or not made sense.
Okay.
So is that a great description of a trust, guys? Should you have a trust if you have real estate outside of your state? So you don't have to go through two probate process. Should you have a trust if you have a special needs child? Other than that, does it really depend? Are there advantages and are there disadvantages to trust outside of that? Yes. So I covered it. Did I cover it thoroughly, and how long did that take me to cover it? So did I attack their trust if they had it? I would cover it the exact same way. So did I attack their trust? Did I attack their attorney? Or did I basically cover the advantages, disadvantages, and why you would absolutely need a trust, and that the fact that if you have a trust otherwise, hey, there's advantages, disadvantages. So now, if he'd had a trust, what would I have said? I see you have a trust. What would I have said? I see you have a trust. Great job. That's all. And then I move on. Why? Because I did I accomplish something with the will? When I said hey, fill out this checklist, we'll make sure your will is complete after that. Hey, you should have a digital executor. Did I accomplish something with that? Very, very quickly. Yes, I did. So it went from, let's see, 10:23 to, 8:20 to 9:42. In a minute and 20 seconds, I covered the will. And in the trust, I covered it in way less than a minute, about 40 seconds. So this is the only place in the 21-point checklist, the trust is the only place in the 21-point checklist that we don't actually, we're done in 40 seconds. We're not even trying to make a point. We're just trying to get it through that as quickly and easily as possible. Does that make sense? And the most important thing is, I've heard advisors start to pan on and go on and on and on about how great trusts are. Do you want to try to get them to do a trust at the 21-point checklist? Do you want to try to sell them on the idea of a trust at 21 checklist? Tell them why they need one. Tell them why it's good. Tell them about the tax savings. Tell them about the privacy. Do you want to do that? No. Because it sounds like you're what? Trying to get them to do a trust. And they know trust costs a lot of money. Aha. So we're in the first 10 minutes of the meeting. He's already trying to sell me something. And what happens to the resistance level? Instead of going down, it does what? Goes up. So the will and the trust are very low key. Let's get through them. If we can, with the will, get a little bit of advantage there, terrific. With the trust, let's not screw up here and try to make it sound like we are in favor or not in favor of trust. We're neutral on trust. Does that make sense? Awesome. So this week was a very simple review of that portion of the 21-point checklist. So super. So guys, I hope that I didn't come off too strong with the conversation about 40 hours a week or not. But if I'm your coach, I'm here to let you know that if you want to be a better player, I, as a coach, am willing to do some one-on-one time if you want to be a better player. Now, if you do want to be a better player, though, and I ask you to do something, then you have to what? You have to do it. I mean, you don't go to a coach and say, Coach, I've been sitting on the sidelines. I want to start. What can I do? And the coach says, well, first thing, you got to build up your strength and endurance. You need to run 10 wind sprints at the end of every practice. Well, if you don't do it, guess what? Some coaches may yell at you, but some coaches may what? Say, well, yeah, well, there's my answer about whether that kid's starting or not. He doesn't want to do it, so he's not going to start, and I'm not going to waste my time screaming at him. So if you do want that coaching, I'm here to help. If you don't want that coaching, that's okay too. That's why we're entrepreneurs. That's why we're independents. But if you aren't working 40 hours a week and you want to get in front of more people, please, please, please start using our unique selling propositions. Start using our unique selling propositions with all the tools that we have. Make sense? Awesome. Then you guys have a wonderful rest of the week, and we will talk to you all next Monday. Thanks, everybody. Talk to ya.